Let's talk about packing for labor and delivery at the hospital. I had a son a few months ago and I overpacked. Even after watching a ton of videos here on YouTube to decide what was gonna take or not to the hospital. So in this video, I am gonna start telling you all the things that I packed that I really used and were really helpful for me, and also all the things that I packed that I did not use, but maybe useful for you. Let's see. I just want to remind you that each hospital is a different hospital that provides totally different things, and each labor is a very different labor too. I, for example, prepared for a natural labor, and after 27 hours in labor, I ended up in an emergency C-section. So many of the things that I packed were not used because I ended up having a C-section. But maybe all those things that I packed that I had absolutely no use for are gonna be extremely useful for you, because if you're gonna have a natural labor, I think you would really enjoy the tips that I have in this video too. So let's start the first part of this video only talking about all the things that I found extremely useful at the hospital. First of all, pillow. Yes, you heard me right. I listened to several people talking about that, and I'm glad I took my pillow with me. Not just the pillowcase, but the whole pillow. I have a silk cover for my pillow, so I took my pillow with the silk cover on it, and they even allowed me to stay with my pillow and my pillowcase during my C-section. No problem at all, even if you have a C-section. And I'm telling you to pack your pillow, even though it takes a lot of room in your luggage, because I don't know if you have ever stayed in a hospital, but the pillows that are provided by the hospital are actually disposable pillows. They are extremely thin, and if you want to have the volume of a low grade, I would say, pillow, you need to stack at least 3 of the pillows given to you at the hospital. And after using them for a few hours, they start to sog and you need to add more to the layer. So just bring your own pillow and you can thank me later. And if you are gonna have someone else staying at the hospital with you, tell that person to pack their pillow too. Okay, next, I know it's a little bit cliche to talk about that, but remember to take all your documents with you. You don't want to arrive at the hospital and then remember that you forgot your driver's license or any other important documents. So review all the documents, make a list of all the documents that you need, insurance card, everything, and take it to the hospital, because the last thing you want is have to ask your husband or somebody to go back home to bring something that you forgot. Now let's talk about outfits, because if there is one thing that I definitely overpacked was about my outfits at the hospital. I spent 3 days at the hospital, and I think I packed to stay there for a whole week or more. I took too much stuff that was totally unnecessary. The first thing that I want to tell you about outfits is that I think the easiest thing is to take some sort of loungewear or pajama, whatever you feel more comfortable, as long as it is a dress style. Because I see lots of people packing things like shorts, for example, or even pants to the hospital, and according to what I noticed, these are not very practical choices, especially right after you had a baby, because they're gonna be checking, for example, your cervix pretty often while you are in labor. And do you really want to be taking your shorts or your pants on and off all the time that they need to check you? So I think if you are wearing, for example, a sleep dress or a pajama sleep that is like a dress style, it's a lot faster and easier because you can just lift it up, you can get checked, you just put it down. It takes a few seconds. And also postpartum too, because postpartum, if you had a normal delivery, maybe you have some tear, for example, you don't know what's going to be the outcome, and they will need to check you very often. And if you had a C-section like I did, it's going to be a little harder for you to be bending like one day postpartum, to be putting your clothes on and off. If you only bring pants and shorts, you're probably going to need some help from your husband or even from the nurses just to get dressed. Of course, it's not a big deal. You know, most people do have a support person there that can assist you with that. But if you want a little bit more of independency, just pick a dress. With me, for example, I had a C-section. I packed some dresses that were loungewear, and I was able to dress myself with no help. I did not even need to ask for the nurses or my husband to help me to get dressed. I could do that myself. But I think it would have been a little harder if I only had packed shorts or pants. Another thing that I packed that was very useful for me was a labor gown. The hospitals do provide labor gowns, but let's be honest. First of all, the labor gown that the hospital provides looks more like a potato sack to me. It's extremely big, extremely loose, and the fabric, I took a look on the tag, and it was a cotton blend. It was 60% cotton and 40% polyester. I'm the kind of person that I do not like polyester. Polyester is actually plastic, so I don't like that at all. That's me. I found that the fabric was a little stiff, a little uncomfortable. It's totally open on the back, so it doesn't provide a lot of privacy if you're the kind of person who is going, for example, natural labor and you're planning to be walking around the hospital. So you're probably going to need to have 2 of those gowns provided by the hospital, to make one as a robe to cover your back, to have a little bit more decency and privacy on the rear. And it's not comfortable, it's not pretty at all. So I would suggest that if you can buy a labor gown, just remember that if you're going to take your own labor gown, even if you're planning to have a natural labor, the labor gown must have a back opening. I got one that was from Angel Maternity that I really like. It was a high quality material, it was pretty. I got one in navy, and it had snap buttons from the top all the way to the bottom, because if you need an emergency C-section, like I did, the doctors, they need easy access to the back. So it's important. Another thing is to remember not to take anything with long sleeves, because the doctors need to take your pressure all the time. So you will be needing to put the sleeves up and down, and they have several IV hooks that just stay in here on your wrist all the time too. If you have sleeves that are a little snug, that's probably going to be a little uncomfortable for you too, especially to remove all that to change outfits. So remember, short sleeves and labor gown. If you are planning to breastfeed, it's also important to take a nursing bra. If you're having a C-section, it usually takes about 3 days after surgery for your milk to drop. So you may or may not need the nursing bra, but I think it's good to have it. And if you're gonna have a natural labor, lots of people, they start having milk immediately after they have a baby. So you're gonna feel a lot more comfortable if you have a nursing bra with you too. After watching several videos here on YouTube, one thing that lots of people said was that hospitals were really warm, really hot inside. But in my experience, they were not. I totally disagree with that statement. I found every single room in the hospital extremely cold. I changed rooms several times at the hospital. I even recorded a YouTube video here talking about my labor, so if you want to see more details about that, take a look at my playlist about pregnancy and baby, because I have my labor there. And in that video, you're going to see that even though I went to several different rooms, surgery room, everything, you name it, One thing in common in every single room was how cold it was for me. So I'm glad I took a cashmere scarf with me all time to at least keep this part of my torso warm all the time. And for me, it was extremely helpful. I just want to mention that I am a person that I'm always cold, you know, everywhere I go. So I'm kind of more sensitive to air conditioner than I think most people are. And knowing that, even though I saw, you know, most people saying that hospitals were warm, I decided to take a cashmere scarf with me, and I'm glad I did. Now, something that I took that I believe is gonna be extremely helpful for everybody are slippers. Yeah, and take these rubber slippers with you. I prefer this thong style here, but if you don't like that, take the one that has like a strap here, but made out of rubber. Don't try to go fancy and take something made out of cloth. I was thinking about taking something nicer than these. I'm gonna even show you, just a minute. Look at that. I was thinking about taking something like this. You see, this one is a lot prettier. It has some fabric here. Look at that. Even some shine here. But this one here was a bad idea. First of all, because of the color, because it has fabric and it's beige. And second, because it's not very loose on my feet. This one has a tight fit. And let me tell you that in my case, for example, I needed a lot of IVs. And those IVs made my legs extremely swallow. My legs did not swallow for 9 months during pregnancy, but after the emergency C-section and all the IVs that I got in my arms, my ankles were like this size. And it was hard. I would not be able to fit. I even tried this. After I got home, I tried to put this on my feet and they would not even fit me. My feet was huge. You know, my legs were huge. I could not fit in here. And another thing is that you would think that hospital is an extremely clean environment, but I don't think it is. I took a paper, a white piece of paper, and I just wiped it on the floor to test it out, and it came out black. It looked clean on the surface. I'm sure they had vacuum, you know, the whole room before I arrived, but I have my doubts that it was even mopped. So if the room was in that situation, I do not want to think about the bathroom situation. So the last thing that I wanted was to touch the bathroom floor, the shower floor, barefoot. So take some rubber slippers with you and thank me later. Okay, these ones here are from Havaianas, which is a Brazilian brand that I really love. I am Brazilian, so here they are. I took these ones here that I even wear these at home too. And even if you're not, you know, a person who wears slippers often, I'm sure that it would be really useful in the shower. And that's why I'm telling you to take something made out of rubber, because you will want to wear these babies here even while you are taking a shower. Bah! Another thing that is important to pack, especially if you're gonna have a natural labor, is hair tie. I read somewhere that hair tie is the #1 forgotten item among people who go to the hospital for labor and delivery. I don't know why. So take your hair tie or whatever you take to put your hair up, because when you are pushing, you know, the baby out, you may feel hot. And if you have long hair like I do, I'm sure you're gonna feel a lot more comfortable with your hair up. Most people said that hospitals are gonna provide the basic toiletries for the moms, for example. So they do provide the shampoo, conditioner, soap, maybe even some lotion. So I'm glad that I packed my own, because these were not things that were provided, at least at the hospital where I stayed. Maybe if I had asked for these items, they would have been given to me. I don't know, because I did not even ask for it, because I had my own. But I did not see any of that in my bedroom there. So remember to take your shampoo, your conditioner, your toothbrush, your toothpaste, your floss, your soap, your hair leave-in in case you wear it, also your lip balm. If you are the kind of person that wears any sort of makeup, you may want to take that with you too. Some people, they like to take pictures of the newborn while they are at the hospitals. They even have photographers at the hospital that will offer that service for you for a fee. So you may want, to glamorize your face a little bit postpartum to look good on the pictures. Or you may be receiving visitors, your family, your friends to see you and the baby, and maybe you want to have at least some basic makeup or not. So you think about it and see which of these items are important for you. For me, it was really important to take my lip balm with me because I don't know why, but my lips, they were extremely dry while I was at the hospital. So for me, that was one of the essentials. Oh, another thing talking about toiletries is that you do not need to pack your whole bottle of shampoo and conditioner and lotion because that's gonna take too much room in your luggage. Take those small bottles that you take when you go inside an airplane, for example. Just a few ounces is enough because most people do not spend more than 3 days at the hospital anyway, so you don't need to take a lot with you. One thing that I took with me that I was absolutely sure that would be provided by the hospital, and it was not, were diapers. Yeah, my hospital, for example, they had some disposable panties that they provided. Just a minute, I'll show you. Here, this one here is brand new. I have never worn this. So they have these ones that are like boy shorts. They are disposable. They have this elastic band here. These, by the way, they are extremely comfortable, especially postpartum. And the quality is actually better than what I was anticipating. So they do have these, and they have those thick pads to wear after surgery, because regardless of if you had a natural labor or if you had a C-section, there is going to be some bleeding down there right after having a baby. And I did not find that little disposable underwear with the pad very comfortable. I am so glad that I took my adult diapers. You can buy those from several brands. I brought my own, and they have like a thick elastic band, and they are so much more comfortable to be moving around because they don't go out of place. With those boy shorts and that pad, sometimes it doesn't stick properly and it shifts a little bit. It's not that comfortable. So I was a lot more comfortable just putting those disposable diapers on. So that's a big tip that I would give it to anybody going to a hospital postpartum. Take your big girl diapers with you. You're gonna be matching outfits with your baby. You're gonna be wearing your diapers and your baby's gonna be wearing diapers too. Ooh, mama and baby matching outfit. Another thing that I would definitely take with me is a tumbler. I have this one here that has my name here, Karen, and my initial here, K. Mine is from Yeti, and I really like this one here. It has one of those magnetic sliders, but take whatever brand you like. This is something that I found very useful, but if you don't want to take this with you, at the hospital where I stayed, they do provide one for you. I still have mine here. Look at this here, you see? At the hospital where I stayed, they gave me one of these, but I think it's important for you to have it because they don't have like a mini bar, you know, in your room. It's not a hotel room. So imagine every time you want a cup of water, you need to be asking the nurse to bring you, you know, a little cup. So it's more comfortable to have something, you know, big. Don't take something small, a small tumbler. This one here is big. I don't know how many ounces it has here. Oh, it's 30. This one here is a 30-ounce tumbler, so it's gonna last you, you know, for a while before you need a refill. And another thing to remember is that when I took this one with me, I will show you, I had this one here, I had the straw here instead of the magnetic sleeve. And one of the nurses at the hospital, she saw that and she said, I do not advise you to use the straw, because she said every time, you know, you pull the water with the straw, it ends up adding a lot of air inside you, and for some people that may cause some gas later on. So she said that it was a lot better to use something like this, you know, with a lid instead. So keep that in mind. I don't know why, but the one that they gave me at the hospital, you see, it has a straw here. She was telling me not to use a straw, and the one that they gave me has a straw. But, you know, this one here, you can slide the lid too. You don't need to use the straw. Like this one here, you know, you can use it in a different manner. So that's something to pack too. Another thing that is important to take, and take more than one copy, print several copies with you, are your birth preferences. You're gonna have a lot of nurses in and out, different nurses, different people taking care of you. So I think it's important to have several copies of your birth plan so that the whole staff is totally aware of what to expect, what you want, so that they can fulfill all your desires and maybe prevent some sort of disappointment later on because of misinformation. Now for you that is planning to have a natural labor, like I was, one thing that I found extremely helpful during my 27 hours of labor contraction was this labor comb. Have you ever heard of a labor comb before? I got this one here on Amazon. This is from the brand Mama Natural. It's just a wood comb. You don't need to buy this one, you know, you can just use whatever you have in your home. Maybe you already have any comb there. It comes with a nice sleeve here too to store your comb. This is the package here, and I'm gonna read the back here for you so that you can see. It says, get a grip on your labor. This humble little comb can help you big time during childbirth. According to the gate control theory, our brains can only process a limited number of sensations at the same time. When you are in distress and you introduce another signal, like pressing this comb into your palm, you can divert the brain's attention and reduce the perceived intensity of pain. So I used this one, and as weird as it seems, for me, it did work. You know, of course, you're still gonna feel the labor pains, but I think this little thing here did help me somehow to endure the labor pains, at least in the beginning. It did help a little bit too, and I had that in my hand all the time. Now, lastly, among all the things that I used that were useful indeed, are cell phone, your charger, and your laptop. Sometimes people leave their home in a rush because your water broke and you're heading to the hospital and you have so many things to do, like I need to grab my documents, I need to grab my luggage, I need to grab the husband, that you may forget it. So remember to take your cell phone and your charger and your laptop. And this is something that is kind of easy to forget, because that's not something that you pack and you just leave there ready to go in your suitcase so that you can just grab it and go. Your cell phone is usually something that stays with you, so it's easy not to remember to take it with you. So make a list of these last minute items that you're still using but you need to take to the hospital with you, and you're not gonna forget them, because you will want to take your pictures and check your emails and communicate with your friends and family while you are at the hospital. And you don't want to send your husband or your mother, your sister, your family back home just to need to grab these items for you. Now let's talk about all the things that I watched everybody on YouTube raving about, and I packed it, and I did not need. Maybe you will need it, and some of these things, to be fair, okay, I did not use because I was preparing and packing for a normal delivery, and I ended up with a C-section. So you might use it, what I did not. And other things I just can't foresee, me in a different situation, even if I had a natural labor using them. So let's start with this baby here, portable fan. This one is one of those portable fans that have the legs that fold, that people like to tie to the hospital bed. It turns, tilts here. I got these at Shein, but they are vastly available on Amazon and everywhere, and I didn't use it. I bought this because everybody told me that hospitals were so hot, and during labor, the sweat was just dripping on their face, and it was so much more comfortable to have that fan right on their face while they were pushing the baby out. And you know what? I found the hospital to be extremely cold. I was already freezing there without a fan. I needed a cashmere sweater instead of a fan. Okay, now to be honest, I think this baby here is actually gonna be very useful for my baby, because I can actually attach this baby here to my baby stroller when I'm outdoors, so not totally useless. Another thing that I took with me that I ended up not using at all was this Abby binder right here. I got this one here at Shein. So it's just an elastic Abby binder. It has an extra elastic here and it's adjustable. And the reason why I did not need this one here at all was because the hospital did provide me with one. So I ended up even not using mine. And the one they gave me at the hospital is this one here that was actually a better quality than the one that I brought with me. They put this Abby binder on me right after my C-section surgery, and I stayed with this Abby binder here with me during my entire stay at the hospital. I even came back with this too, and it's washable, and reusable, so that's why I didn't need it. Another thing that several people said on their videos here on YouTube that was important for them to take with them were snacks. Especially like beverages, for example, with electrolytes on it and things like that. But for me, even though I took a lot of snacks with me, that was not necessary, because I was not forbidden to eat anytime that I felt hungry while I was at the hospital, even though I had a C-section in the end. And the hospital had really good food too, what I was not anticipating. I was expecting the hospital food to be really bad and low grade, and it surprised me in a very positive manner because the food was actually delicious. So the food for me, everything was included. While I was at the hospital, I could ask for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, with dessert, whatever I wanted, as much as I wanted. They had a whole menu there to pick from, and everything that I tried was absolutely delicious. And even if you have somebody staying with you at the hospital, like I had my husband with me there the entire time, and his meals were not included, but they had a flat fee of $5 for any meal he wanted, so I did not find it necessary to eat any of the snacks that we brought. Lots of people also told me that I should take some cash and even some coins for vending machines at the hospital in case their cafeteria was closed during later hours and I needed something to eat. And I think they had vending machines there, but I did not even need it. I didn't need it. I found that the food that they had was more than plenty for myself. Another thing that many people said that it was good to take with you were Grippy Socks. I even bought this pair here from Kindred Bravely that says, "Baby, you're worth it." Look how cute this is. It has this kind of rubber sticky bottom to the socks, and I ended up not even using this because I took my slippers with me, so I did not have a need to use it. My husband, he didn't take any grip socks with him, so I asked the nurses there if they had any grip socks available. So they gave me this pair here at the hospital, and they also gave a pair to my husband. Mine is still sealed here in this pack. I did not even open it. My husband opened his pair and he put this Grippy socks on, and you know what's his review of these Grippy socks was? He said, "These are the worst socks I have ever worn in my life." So yeah, it was free. That's all I can say about it. It was complimentary. Still talking about socks, another thing that I took to the hospital that I did not use were compression socks. I got these pairs here of compression socks from the brand Kindred Bravely. It came in this set with a blue one and also with a black one. And the reason why I did not need these socks here is because even though my legs got extremely swollen while I was at the hospital, I didn't wear this because I complained to that about one of the nurses, and she said that they had an equipment there that they installed on my calves that would kind of inflate and then pressure, and it would do that all night long to try to prevent my legs from getting swelled. In the end, even that equipment did not work at all. So this is something that I did end up using, but it was after I was released from the hospital that I just used it at home. Another thing that I bought at Kindred Bravely just to wear at the hospital because I was influenced by all the influencers and everybody said the same thing. Get yourself a nice robe. Do yourself a favor and get a robe. And I'm not a robe person. I'm not the kind of person that wears robe when I am at home, but I thought, well, at the hospital, maybe there is gonna be a need for it. So I got one that is extremely nice, really high quality material, buttery soft, beautiful, at Kindred Bravely. And I did not wear it at the hospital, not one time. I packed it and, did not use it. So I should know better, because if you are the kind of person who wears a robe at home, you're probably gonna need it at the hospital. But if you never wear it at home, the odds that you're gonna use it at the hospital are pretty low too. So, my fault. Another thing that I got was that I bought several two-piece sets at Kindred Bravely. Beautiful sets with tops and bottoms, with pants, and I did not wear any of them while I was at the hospital. So I, like I mentioned before, found that it was more practical for me to wear dresses, loungewear dresses or loungewear pajama that had a skirt instead of pants on it. So I didn't use it. But to be fair, after I was released from the hospital and I was more mobile, I did wear all of those beautiful sets that I got at Kindred Bravely. So they were not totally useless. They were kind of useless while I was at the hospital, but I did wear them a lot and I still do today after I was released. Now let's talk about some nursing items that I ended up not using because, like I mentioned, it took me 3 days after surgery so that my milk would drop. So while I was still at the hospital, I did not have, the opportunity to actually nurse my son. He did stay, a little bit, but not enough to justify any of the items that you're gonna see here. So one of the items that many people rave about that I did not use while I was at the hospital were these Silverettes. Have you ever heard of Silverettes? These are the original Silverettes. They are nipple shields and they are made out of real silver. So they are a little bit pricey. You see how they are? I'm gonna get a close up here. They look like two little caps, two little lids. And I'm gonna tell you something. Even though I did not wear this at the hospital because there was absolutely no need for it, if there is one item that I would recommend for any woman breastfeeding, it's this one here. Get yourself some Silverettes. I know that there are several knockoffs on the marketing that are actually silver plated, and I don't know if those work or not as well as these worked for me, but this is awesome. I breastfed my son for almost 11 months, and this was a lifesaver for me. This really gave me so much relief. Every time that I put this on, I was like, oh, thank goodness. This is absolutely awesome. It was worth every penny. I don't remember how much I paid for it right now. I'm gonna leave it right here, but this was not very cheap. You know, prepare your pocket if you want to get the original one. I think it's made in Italy, is that correct? I don't even know. Yes, it is made in Italy and it's really silver, but it works, it works. You do not even need to apply any of those nipple creams. With this, you can apply some nipple cream if you want to and then put this over, but I discovered over time that I did not even need any nipple cream and I never had any sort of problems with my nipples cracking or anything using these babies here, so highly recommended. Another thing that is extremely useful are nipple butters if you're breastfeeding. I got these here from the brand Earth Mama. There is organic, and I found this to be really good. At the hospital they did have this too. They even gave me some samples of this brand here. It's just like lanolin cream to apply on your nipples. So I ended up not using for obvious reasons, like I have already explained to you. But while I was at home, I found this brand here that I got from Earth Mama even far superior than this one here that was provided to me at the hospital. I'm gonna just show that to you. You see, I still have a little bit here. Smells good. So if you wanna get this, get yourself some. I like this brand here, no complaints at all. Another thing for you breastfeeding are some nursing pads. I have this one here. They're disposable that I got at the hospital for free. These ones are from Philips Avent. And I also have this one here that I bought from Kindred Bravely, and they are washable ones. So these are how they look. They're extremely soft here on this area, very buttery soft. They are waterproof, and you can just take these babies here, put them in the washing machine after every use, and it's reusable. And it comes in this beautiful pouch here too, all printed and colorful. So I really like it, and I really use this a lot, but not at the hospital. Another thing that I did not use at all at the hospital, but may be extremely useful for you, is makeup. I'm a very basic person, I would say, in terms of makeup. Now I'm here recording this video for you on YouTube, and I have a lipstick on, I have some eyeshadow, and I have some mascara. And that's it. My makeup is usually these 3 items and nothing else. And I took these 3 items with me, and to be honest with you, while I was at the hospital, I was not in the mood for even a lipstick. So I took pictures at the hospital, recorded a few videos. Maybe it's because I did not have any professional photography done and I did not receive any visitors while I was at the hospital. So maybe the lack of motivation came from there. Maybe it's something that it's going to be extremely useful for you if you're going to have a photo shoot with a professional photographer, or if you're getting visitors and you want to, look more presentable and prettier and happier and cheerful. Maybe makeup, it brings, the happiness on you. So for me, it was not useful, but it may be for other person. Now let's talk about some Peri care supplies. If you are not gonna have a natural labor, these items are not gonna be useful for you at all. I bought all these items and I was prepared to have a natural labor. That ended up not happening. So maybe you can even skip this part of the video if you did not have a natural labor. But if you're planning to have a natural labor and you want to prepare for recovery, not only at the hospital but also at home, I think these items that were totally useless for me are going to be extremely useful for you. So this Perennial Care has 5 different items that I think everybody who is going through a natural labor should have at home and even take to the hospital for an easier and smoother recovery. Let's start with the famous Peri bottle. Lots of the items you're gonna see here are from the brand Frida. That's very well known among pregnant women. So here we have their famous Peri bottle. It comes in this little pouch bag here. I'm gonna open here with you. Here it is. It has this beautiful shade of pinkish purple. You just pull it up. You can fill this one here with water. I would suggest that instead of using cold water, you even use warm water. That's gonna make you even more comfortable. So this is an upside down Peri bottle. So you just fill this with warm water, and while you are at the bathroom, you just kind of press it. I did use this, I would say, on the first day after surgery, but I found that it was not necessary at all. And they are going to give you a bottle at the hospital. You are going to receive a Peri bottle, regardless if you have a C-section or a natural labor. Just a minute, I'm going to take the one that I got at the hospital. So this is the Peri bottle that I got at the hospital. It looks like a ketchup bottle. This one here, just press up and then you spray. I don't think it's necessary to buy this one here, I found this one I received it at the hospital pretty good. I heard lots of people saying that this one here was really low quality and it was a lot harder to use. I have tested both of them, and you know what? This one here is free and it's pretty easy to use too. So I would not tell anybody to buy this. For me, it was not useful. And I think even if I had natural labor, this one was pretty good. That was fine. There's no need for that. So the second step is to wear this postpartum underwear here. This one is also from Frida. It comes in a pack with several different ones. It comes with 8 body shorts. So I have one open here so that you can see. So these are disposable underwears, Lots of people who tried this, they say that the quality of this Frida brand is even higher than the one that is pretty good that they provide at the hospital. I don't know, because I did not even try that. I tried the one that they gave me at the hospital. It was pretty good, but I can't tell you if this one here is better or not because I just didn't use it. I decided to just use Diapers and call it a day. Now the third step is this big boy here. This huge box here is also from Frida Mom, and these are Instant Ice Maxi pads. This box here comes with 8, and I have one of them here. So this one here, you're supposed to take it, remove it from this pack, and you need to break it. It's gonna crack, and then you shake it really hard. And there are some chemicals here inside that are gonna make this one extremely cool. And if you want some extra cooling effect, you just add some water to the surface here. So this is a really thick pad for postpartum bleeding that you can put to your underwear, or those, you know, Frida disposable underwear, or the hospital underwear, whatever you want. And there are 2 more steps that you can put and layer on the top here that I'm gonna talk to you about next. But this is something that I asked if they had any sort of Maxi cooling pad at the hospital. Of course, I was not expecting them to have a Frida brand at the hospital, but I thought they had their generic, cheaper version at the hospital, and they did not have any of these at the hospital. I have seen some people in their videos saying that some hospitals will provide something like that to their patients. The hospital where I stayed did not have this available. I asked for it just out of curiosity, and they said they did not have it. You know, that's okay. I did not need it. But if you need it, you know, you better take some with you, because your hospital may or may not supply this. The next thing that I have here, that is actually the 4th step for perineum care, are the famous tucks. Well, you probably have heard of this before. These are medicated cooling pads, and these are pads with witch hazel. So that should bring you a cooling effect and a lot of comfort. So the way you apply this is, you have the pad here that can be a cooling pad or any regular pad that you have. And these are like liners that you can put all over the pad to bring you more comfort. And then there's another step that you can put on the top of this one too, that I'm gonna talk to you about next. So I'm just gonna open these here to show you. Mine here is still closed and sealed, but it comes in this little container here. And I have seen people raving on the internet about this product. If you know it and you like it, leave in the comments below. And lastly, we have as the 5th step and last one is Dermoplast, which is this perineal healing foam right here. You probably have heard about this brand before. It's a spray that you apply lastly on the top of everything else there. And I don't know, I never used mine, but I see people talking a lot about this, and everybody says it's really wonderful. So just to review everything, the order of perineal care is: first, you use their Peri bottle, and then you take some disposable underwear, and then you put the cooling pad, this really thick pad here, with some tucks on the top of it, and lastly, you have this little foam here on top of it all. The last thing that I have on my list was extension cord. Lots of people said that hospitals usually do not have a lot of outlets. So in order to charge your laptop and your cell phone, plus your plus one at the hospital too, if you have another person there, it's better to take an extension cord with you. I took it and there was no need to use it. The outlets that they had there were plenty for me, so for me there was no need for that. Maybe in another hospital you will need it, but I did not need it. Now let's talk about the baby. I believe that the hospital provided everything that my baby needed during the entire stay there. I took a bunch of things for my baby. I took several outfits and diapers and several things, and I did not use anything. The hospital will provide diapers for your baby. The brand that they have are Pampers. If you don't want to breastfeed or if your milk hasn't dropped yet, they do have a formula at the hospital too. They do provide you with a milk pump if you want to. They had a manual pump that they gave to me. I'm gonna show you. I'm back here. So this is the manual pump that I received at the hospital. If you have already bought your electric pump, you can also take that to the hospital because they will teach you how to use it there. But they gave me, you know, this manual one. I did not find that it was necessary to put onesies on my baby because there were so many exams that needed to be done. So they were constantly checking me and checking my baby. So I did not find it necessary to put any clothes on my baby while he was at the hospital. What I used was the swaddle that the hospital provided to keep my baby warm with the little cap that the hospital also provided for my baby. So there was no need for anything. If you want to take some cute pictures or professional pictures, I think that would be a great idea to take some swaddles and some onesies with you. And remember to take not just the newborn size onesie, but also the next size available. Because some babies, they are born really big and the newborn size is not one size fits all, you know. Most babies are actually gonna need the newborn size, but some babies are bigger and they may need something larger, you know. Another thing that is extremely important to have installed is a car seat. And do not even try to install that car seat yourself. You can call a police station, a firefighter station, or even go to your hospital and schedule an appointment, usually for free, and they will install that for you. So do not even bother. You know, many people out there, they try to do that themselves and they do that incorrectly, and that can be extremely dangerous. And it's difficult to install too. I remember that the manual on my car seat was something like this thick. It was like a Bible. So do not even try to do that yourself. You know, let the professionals care that for you. And I think that's it. So that's all. I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope it saves you a lot of time because, like I mentioned before, I watched 100 videos, maybe 1,000 videos here on YouTube, you know, in order to pack properly for the hospital, and ended up overpacking anyway. So I hope you find these tips useful. If you find these tips useful, please leave me a comment below, click on like, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I will see you here again in my next video. Bye bye!